Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hut, and this is another episode of the insane asylum known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha, they're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha, to the funny part.
And welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2, and hope you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So we're going to talk about, again, WFAN. They are everything that is bad about sports talk radio. As you know, sports radio in this country is not doing well. Intercom, that's part of CBS Network, claimed bankruptcy in the past 2 weeks, and they're not doing well. The program director, Spike Epstein, quit just like that to be an on-air personality in Philadelphia, of all places. So WFAN's not doing well. Sports talk is not doing well at all. A lot of radio stations are firing people, consolidating. The one thing about WFAN is they lost a lot of revenue over the last few years. They do not have any big personalities there. Obviously, the big cash cow has been gone for a long time down in the morning. Honestly, in the morning was a big cash cow. And of course, Mike and the Mad Dog is in there. So when you get these three personalities that have been gone a long time, and you have these losers on the fan, then you have a major problem. Now I'm going to talk about in this video Marcus Stroman, who is considered to be the most toxic player in any clubhouse. And I know this for a fact because I'm a Mets fan. I remember him being here with the Mets and how toxic he was. And when the Mets did not offer him a contract after the 21 season, he started screaming about the fans and calling them racist, and that's why he was happy to be gone. Now, he has had a history of doing kind of weird stuff like this. He basically got himself traded off the Blue Jays because they got tired of his nonsense. And they traded him to the Mets. The Mets had for 2 months in the 2019 season. He opted out of the 2020 season. And then he pitched in 21. He pitched okay, but the problem is with Marcus is that Marcus tends to act like a tough guy against the bad teams, and he riles up the bad teams. The good teams he doesn't do that with. I can give you a couple of examples, not in this video, but I can give you a couple of examples of him riling up the bad teams and basically causing a lot of havoc. Now, he's been with the Cubs the last year or so. He pitched okay this past year, but he was dealing with injuries. The first year he pitched terrible with the Cubs. Now he's with the Yankees. There is a negative history there with the Yankees. He's never played there. He's got a negative history. And the Yankees general manager laughed it off. Stroman laughed it off. And an old hag, a nag from the past at WFAN was all in. Was all in on Marcus. So we'll get into that momentarily. But let me read you from Odyssey.com. This is where the WFAN thing comes from. Headline, Marcus Stroman, Brian Cashman laughed off previous feud. Quote, match made in heaven. This won't be a match made in hell. Because the Yankee clubhouse has been pretty static. Nothing bad comes out of that clubhouse. All pretty much good guys in that clubhouse. Marcus Stroman and the Yankees would have been seen as a disastrous marriage 5 years ago, when the writing Brian Cashman had a public back and forth after the trade deadline. Cashman didn't see Stroman as a difference maker at the time, hence the team's decision not to trade for him that summer. 2 years later, Stroman was still bringing the quote to light while ripping the Yankees, and their rotation consistently folded in October. Fast forward to Thursday afternoon, and a smile. Now, this is a guy that had never played for the Yankees. And he's causing all this trouble within the Yankee organization and the general manager. And a smiling Stroman told reporters that the unlikely marriage between himself and the Yankees was finalized with a chuckle between two unlikely allies. Stroman, being formally introduced as a Yankee over Zoom, said he and Cashman have wiped the slate clean to help come to terms on a 2-year deal. Quote, it was quick, man. It was quick. We literally laughed it off and laughed about it, Stroman said. He told me his quick little piece about how it didn't necessarily come out as he wanted it to be. He let me know I'm someone who he thought was always going to be a good competitor. Someone who could handle the lights. Someone who could handle the pressure. And that was kind of the ultimate draw. Okay there, Marcus. He does pitch well in between the lines. You need him to pitch a big game. He's not afraid of the moment. The problem is when he gets in that clubhouse. He's annoying. I think he's probably really annoying to his teammates. That's the problem with Marcus. He'll give you his all on the mound, but there's a lot of sort of, it's not even a hot dog kind of thing. It's weird. I think Cash is right there with me, thinking this is going to be a good situation for both of us. Cashman spoke later in the day, agreed with that synopsis, taking responsibility for the situation escalating as it did in 2019, and revealing how he tried and needed to remedy it. Okay. It was my bad. We were trying to trade for him, and I was asked why we didn't pay the ransom, and then trying to frame it. I just said for the amount of talent Toronto wanted back, it would be a difference maker. The Mets traded for him. They didn't give up a lot for him. They really didn't. It was construed as intended, and at the time I called his agent and immediately apologized. I saw Brodie Van Wagenen, Stroman's current agent, in November, and I reiterated that again, and he assured me there's no issues. Now, Brodie traded for Stroman. He loved the guy. He traded for this guy. So now he's his agent? Wow. I wanted to have a conversation with him. When we were talking, he was trying to dismiss it and move forward, and we laughed about it. But I said it was important to check this box and have him hear what was intended and apologize personally. Of course, Cashman is far from the only one on the receiving end of Stroman's callous via social media. The 2023 All-Star has built a reputation of clashing with fans online, while his role in the infamous thumbs down movement by members of the 2021 Mets further the belief that Stroman wouldn't be able to thrive in New York. He hates the fans. He hates any kind of negativity. He's got rabbit ears. But the Medford native believes Yankee fans will get to know and appreciate the real Stroman in his second go-around the Big Apple. I'd say I'm misunderstood for sure, Stroman said. That's another reason why I'm excited to be a Yankee. I think people have a different view of me after my tenure here. I don't think Cashman, Booney, or Judge would want me to be a part of it if they didn't know my character and how I was as a teammate. So I'm excited. Of course, he's getting a lot of money from the Yankees. I'm excited for this opportunity. Stroman just won't be making his return to New York, where scrutiny will be as potent as the city's spotlight. He will be part of a team with an agitated fan base following a disastrous 82 win season, and part of a rotation bloated with question marks, including Carlos Rodon. Remember Carlos Rodon? It's one of his first starts back with the Yankees, blowing kisses to the Yankee fans in Oakland. That's a good combination. You got the guy who was one of the guys that did the thumbs down, and the guy blowing kisses to the fans that are booing him. Oh, this is going to be great. Whose debut season in the Bronx included blowing kisses at angry Yankee fans during one of many abysmal outings. The recipe seems like one of disaster, given the expectations and patience of the fan base, and the perception of Stroman. But he says that perception will be corrected in 2024, and this partnership will be one to remember. Quote, I'm not someone who shies away from the limelight or the pressure or the lights. I think a lot of guys would avoid coming to New York and playing for the Yankees because of that reason. You did such a great job the first time, Marcus. You really did. I feel like it brings out the best in me. Well, doing this and being encouraging this, that doesn't bring out the best in someone. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. So this is the WFAN angle. Quite a few of the WFAN hosts have not taken too well to Stroman being here. Stroman, like I said, he's a negative force. He's got a negative attitude. And they've kind of come out against this. Now, one of the worst personalities that's ever graced our broadcasting scene in sports, is Susan Waldman. Susan Waldman is the first real female that went into the clubhouses and the very first voice of WFAN. But she is a miserable person. I mean, anyone that's ever heard her on the radio, anyone that's ever heard her on the broadcast with the elderly John Sterling, she comes across as somebody with zero sense of humor. She's probably the one person on the fan that Imus never made fun of. Everybody was made fun of except for her. And they all knew that she was one that doesn't take well to people making fun of her. Craig Carton always made fun of her. And he always brought up the fact that she hated him. So Susan doesn't like being mocked. And she always throws out the sexism card when really she's got no personality. She's a failed actress from Broadway that decided to be in broadcasting. Let's call it like I see it, like I always do. But this is from Odyssey, and she's one of the biggest shills. You talk about, she is Shill 1.0. Shill of the Yankees 1.0 at the Fan. She's such a shill. You always get the sense that she's doing stuff with the players, especially back in the late 80s, early 90s. And she always refers to them in the first name. And she is known to have been in the Yankees booth with the owner in 1996 when the Yankees won the World Series, because he wanted her there. So she is the number one shill for the Yankees at the Fan. She always was, and she'll continue to be. It's from Odyssey again. Susan Waldman, all in on Marcus Stroman to the Yankees. I don't want kumbaya all the time. Susan Waldman joined Evan and Tiki on Thursday afternoon, and the Yankees radio analyst all in on Marcus Stroman in pinstripes. I love Marcus Stroman. I love guys like that. I love guys with an edge. Or what about Mel Hall? He had an edge too. Gave her a hard time. I love guys with an edge. I don't want kumbaya all the time. I hate that. And I would mention, she dealt with one of the most toxic clubhouses the Yankees ever had. And that was with a leader in that clubhouse. I want someone that's going to go out and has a chip on his shoulder. I love guys like that. Oh, okay. Susan wanted to see Stroman with the Yankees back in 2019 when he ultimately wound up with the Mets. Leaned to Brian Cashman's comments on not believing the righty was a difference maker, and he wasn't. And the beef between he and Stroman that followed. Whatever went on with him, he should have been here. Susan said, he's another one when they were going to trade him with Toronto. I thought he was coming here, and he's perfect here. He's got that little edge. On the emphasis on little. She had to get a little joke on him. You look back at that stuff that people got all upset about. What did he say that it was so terrible? He put his thumbs down on the Met fans, asshole. And he called the Met fans racist. Met fans who are probably members of the same family with Yankee fans. Moron. Susan pointed to a story from last season as the reason why Yankee fans would be drawn to Stroman immediately and see him as a true grinder on the mound that would pitch through pain. He was hurt. And I walked down the corridor with Stroman on the way. I wonder if she's holding him. And I said, I knew he was on the injured list, and I was told he was going to pitch again. I was told he's too hurt. The ribs are shattered. Wherever he was, I was told by someone in that clubhouse he was going to pitch again. And we walked down, and I said, how are you doing? And he said, don't count me out. People are going to be surprised. That's the kind of person that I always saw. Oh, God bless Marcus Stroman. And God bless one of the biggest shills in the history of WFAN. And this is another report on the insane asylum known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha ha. They're coming to take me away, ho ho, hee hee, ha ha. To the funny part.